What's up, everybody? This is AJ coming at you on my phone. This is not recorded professionally because it's summertime, baby. I'm recording this in that strange break between Christmas and New Year's when no one knows what's going on, to give you the exciting news that you're about to listen to a Patreon sample pack. Instead of a real episode this week. Hi, flatmate. Just recording unprofessionally. So this is something we do every year about this time just to give ourselves a break. Though I got to tell you what, it's a bloody hassle to make it and put it up anyway. But so the following little clips that you're going to hear from our podcast are from our Patreon show. We have two Patreon shows. One is called Film Franchise Follow-Ups, where we follow up a film franchise we've previously covered, and the other is called Generic Movie _ Podcast, or it's called something approximately like that. And usually we release a FFFU and a GMP in one of these sample packs, but just to do something a bit different, I thought this week we would offer you guys two separate GMPs in one sample pack, and then the next episode we'll do two separate FFFUs, just to be like, maybe people aren't getting enough of a variety of GMPs. To be honest, I did it by accident and realized while I was recording this that I'd downloaded two GMPs. So that's what we're doing. So the first one we're going to listen to is going to be our podcast on the Lizzie McGuire movie, and that'll be quickly followed by our podcast on Not Another Teen Movie. We're doing two movies with movies in the title. So check them out, and I'll come back at the end with a little outro.
All right, welcome along everybody to Generic Movie Podcast on the Cold Pop Show Patreon. This is of course our Patreon show for our $10 tier patrons, where you guys suggest and vote on a single sequel-less movie for us to discuss. And that's what's happening today with myself, AJ, and my friend Richard. Hello, Richard.
Mm-hmm.
Are you mad at me?
Yep.
Okay. Well, let's talk about that after the record, because now
I thought it might make for some fun content. I was going to make up a reason I was mad at you, because I'm not. But I thought I was yes-anding you when you asked if I was angry.
I was just feeling very insecure and asking if you were... I thought you were serious. I was going to cut all this out in the edit. But now I guess I'll leave it in, because now it is just a fun...
We have made it into good content.
So this month on Generic Movie Podcast, you guys suggested and voted for the Lizzie McGuire movie, a 2003 teen comedy film directed by Jim Fall. It was, of course, ostensibly the series final to Lizzie McGuire, the TV show.
Even though it actually came out quite a wee while before the end of the series.
Really?
It's set after the series, I believe. But so the movie came out in May 2nd, 2003, and the series finished on February 14th, 2004.
So it's sort of like how the SpongeBob movie was supposed to be set after the...
There was 5 episodes left when the movie came out. But for some reason, the final episode came out like 4 months after the one before it.
Okay. Well, I mean, here we are, though. Here we are talking about the Lizzie McGuire movie. What is your... Should we talk about what it's about, or should we discuss our relationship with Ms. McGuire? What's the best way to go about this?
Missy McGuire?
Missy McGuire?
I've probably seen every episode of the TV series.
Oh, wow.
I watched it quite a lot growing up. I enjoyed it. And I've seen the movie before.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. I like Lizzie McGuire.
I was also a similar thing. I really enjoyed the TV show when I was maybe 10 or 11, but could not tell anyone. My God. No one at school's finding out that AJ watches Lizzie McGuire, the girls' show. And I always really liked her little brother, who was related to him. And I've also seen this movie. I remember we got it out on DVD when it came out, and again, it was like, Mum, Dad, I need you to get out this movie for movie night.
But say it's for Midi.
Yeah, we it's my sister. We cannot tell anyone that I'm watching this. And when Disney Plus first turned up on our doorstep, I feel like Lizzie McGuire was one of the first things I properly revisited.
Right.
You know, I didn't watch a lot of it,
Did
which
it hold
maybe
up?
speaks. Yeah, that's the question. I think it doesn't. So this movie, the movie Lizzie McGuire movie, has 40% on Rotten Tomatoes, and I just saw that then, and I was like, "That's
Criminal.
stupid. That's stupid because who's reviewing this movie? Like, this is one of those movies with a very specific target demographic, and it's like I'm really uninterested in critic reviews who are outside of that target demographic."
Yeah. Tell me your gender again. Oh, that's right. You're a boy. Lizzie McGuire movie is for girls only.
What's this? Is this a Lizzie McGuire quote, or is this a...
No, it's a TikTok sound.
Okay. I've not seen that TikTok sound.
That's funny because I've referenced it to you more than once, and you heart reacted both times.
I just thought you'd been original and funny.
No, I was being derivative and funny.
So this movie is about Lizzie goes on a class trip. The momentous occasion of ending junior high happens. Something that needs to be marked with a goddamn trip to Italy. It's what an extreme thing to do for the end of, I'll say it, the worst school. For like elementary/primary, yeah, momentous. End of high school, of course. Secondary school or intermediate, as we call it, or junior high, you don't need to celebrate that with anything, I don't think. I think that's a pretty... Not a lot... like, it's all before and after that matters, you know. But I guess those are the consumers of the Lizzie McGuire TV show. And so they go to Italy, and what happens in Italy, Richard?
She runs into Paolo, who's an Italian pop star who's one part of a duo, Paolo and Isabella. And Isabella is the spit and image of Lizzie McGuire. She's also played by Hilary Duff.
Now, I need people to know that you did not fumble over your words there. You just refuse to move with what that phrase has become, and very defiantly always say spit and image instead.
Well, that's the expression, and I did also stumble over my words.
So joke's on you. I did fuck up.
But it is spit and image. Spit sounds like, image looks like. Not. Yeah. I've told this on the podcast before.
I know you have,
and I'm going to do it again. But I'm
going to do it again.
Yeah, I had a like the kind of people that will like sing quietly to themselves, but be like, and like, and they want people to be like, wow, you're actually a really good singer, and they can be like, oh, I wasn't even trying. Whenever she would say like that phrase, and she would do it quite a lot, she would say like the splitting image, and it's like she's waiting for someone to be like, isn't it spitting? And she'd be like, no, actually. And it's like, you're also wrong, but I'm not going to give you the satisfaction of having this discussion with you.
Who was doing this? Sorry,
a girl I know.
Okay. I'm just looking at,
and she would also do the singing thing.
I'm just looking at the other directorial debut, the other directorial efforts of Jim Fall, and right after the Lizzie McGuire, 3 years after the Lizzie McGuire movie, his next project was So Notorious.
For what was it notorious for?
For being loosely based off the life of actress Tori Spelling.
Oh yeah, that'll do it.
Anyway,
okay. So with So Paolo hatches a plan he tells Lizzie that she's got, like, Isabella has screwed him over and she always lip syncs. And it's one of these classic, like, manipulating her into a situation where it's like, can you pretend to be Isabella and we have to sing at this performance, but you can just lip sync. And then meanwhile, like on this class trip, Gordo, Lizzie's best friend, who's, you're the gold standard for best friend that they obviously should be with. Like, he's straight up he's the best one.
God, I related to Gordo growing up. God, I related to Gordo.
And then so he's covering for the class, for her absence in the class. But then it's revealed near the end that Paolo was actually just using Hillary and Lizzie.
The reason you said Hillary there is because Hillary Duff is the sillier name. Lizzie McGuire should be the name of the actress. The character's name should be Hillary Duff.
I disagree.
Oh!
But that essentially it's that Paolo's the fraud. He lip syncs, he can't sing, and he wants to, knowing that Lizzie's uncomfortable with it, he can humiliate her, make himself look good. But then the real Isabella comes in, and together with the two Hillary Duffs and Gordo, they hatch a plan to expose Paolo. And then Lizzie McGuire presumably ends up being like an international pop sensation for like a little 5 seconds of fame, because she performs the hey now, this is what dreams are made of song, which you probably know from this movie.
The enduring legacy of this movie. Isn't it interesting, though, that the villain Paolo, his plan hatches on... I really liked this idea and concept, that it hinges on Lizzie McGuire not being a good singer.
Yeah.
And after they topple him off his platform, Isabella's then like, now turn her microphone up because she can sing. We've not been so really the situation here is Lizzie McGuire could sing at any point, and there was never any danger, I guess.
Yeah. But also, fun fact as well is that Isabella's singing voice is Haley Duff, so it's not actually like they're just singing the same. It's slightly different, which is quite cool.
It is cool. And they then perform a choreographed dance routine to the song, which we are led to believe is improvised on the spot. And yeah, I thought it was pretty interesting. I thought all the stuff. I thought it's interesting to see a Disney Channel endeavor that feels like it has the same plot as Hannah Montana. Like it's very like this must be where they got the idea for Hannah Montana.
Yeah.
Like it's so similar to the point where it's like, is someone out there created a fan theory that Hannah Montana is a recast, renamed Lizzie McGuire?
Yeah, well, because there was this was encroaching on the end of the podcast, but there was a sequel talked about at one point. Which actually nothing came of it due to creative differences between Hilary Duff and Disney. Hilary Duff, who was 16 at the time. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see like what would have happened. But of course, the other big thing which I want to talk about is that we were supposed to get a Lizzie McGuire revival series, and yeah, it didn't end up happening. They shot 2 episodes of it, and then the showrunner quit, and then eventually the show was completely cancelled, allegedly because of creative differences with Disney, which were allegedly the show was too adult and involved sex and potentially cheating as a plot line. But hearing that it involved cheating, I'd heard that it was like that Lizzie cheated on her boyfriend, and then like a Wild with Reese Witherspoon kind of situation where it's like you have this character who has lived 20 years off screen from us, and then she loses everything by her own hand, and she's forced to go back to her hometown, move in with her parents, and rebuild her life. And you're like I'm fascinated by that as an idea, and I'm genuinely like, I haven't watched many of the Disney Plus revivals they've been doing, but like the loss of the Lizzie McGuire reboot is actually like a devastating blow, I reckon. Like I'm actually so upset we're not going to see that.
I understand that. It did look exciting, and I feel like the iCarly reboot is doing what the Lizzie McGuire reboot was supposed to do. Have you seen any clips from that?
No, I've never watched iCarly.
So, the clips I've seen from it are like, there's a scene where Carly and Freddie are on the verge of having a threesome with someone, right? So it's like the show is sexual and adult because the characters are sexual and adult, which wasn't the case when the show was in its prime, which is pretty interesting. So I agree that would have been an exciting place to take Lizzie
Jesus,
McGuire.
they actually say the word threesome.
Yeah.
What the hell?
What the fuck is this? This is filthy. This is disgusting. Oh, Nickelodeon, you should be ashamed of yourself.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's insane.
You're like, I don't want the Lizzie McGuire reboot anymore.
No, like, well, okay. Like, to be fair, I don't know if this is out of character for iCarly because I've never seen the show.
Well, it was a kid's show and they didn't talk about
I don't know, AJ. I haven't seen it, okay? Yeah, no, like the Lizzie McGuire, like, I love the idea. Like, have you seen the movie Young Adult with Charlize Theron?
I've not seen it, but
What,
I'm
like
aware of it.
do Young Adult, but with Lizzie McGuire as Charlize Theron and Gordo as Patton Oswalt's character. Like,
Right.
this, they, were friends in high school and now their lives are going completely different. Although I'm not sure Patton Oswalt was, they were actually friends in high school, but they went to the same high school. And that, like, this coming back and being like, damn, like, you're actually the only person that's ever cared about me. Like, oh god, it could have been such a beautiful series.
That is a beautiful idea. It is the DNA of Lizzie McGuire as a character suited for something like that, though? Like, what is Lizzie McGuire about?
What does she stand for?
Is the show about anything more than just a preteen girl?
Well, because the thing is that, like, Lizzie McGuire is, its hook is there's an animated version of her, right?
Sure,
and
yeah.
that's kind of what I was thinking watching the film, is that, like, this is a bananas finale. That, like she doesn't have dreams of being a superstar or anything like that. It's just someone had the idea for Hannah Montana, but Miley Cyrus wasn't old enough yet. So they were like, well, let's do it with Lizzie McGuire. And the stakes are all over the place. It's this whole weird thing. And then I was trying to think of, like, well, okay, you take away this, what actually is the premise of Lizzie McGuire? And it is just that it's a trio of friends, but she has this little animated version of herself that says what she's thinking.
Jiminy Cricket.
Like, yeah, well, it's like she's what she wishes she could say.
Yeah,
a lot of it, because a lot of the times, like, she gets asked a question and little Lizzie is like, yes, 1,000 times yes, and then cut to real Lizzie and she's like, no.
I actually thought there was some almost pseudo-sexual imagery with the animated Lizzie in this movie. There's one part where she first meets
where Gordo tries to have a threesome with Lizzie and animated Lizzie.
Where she first meets Paolo, and the like little animated cutaway they do is the cartoon Lizzie, like, riding on a fountain of love hearts, and she's sitting on it, and it almost looks like she's like blasting love hearts up her butt. I don't know. and the way it looked vaguely like kinky, I guess. And I wonder if that would be a way to think of the Lizzie McGuire reboot. There would be like this X-ratedness to the cartoon version of it.
Yeah.
What you do in the first episode of the reboot is the cartoon version isn't in it at all until right at the end when her life's fallen apart. She's gone home.
Legit, I was actually thinking this last night.
She goes into her bedroom and she's looking around and she opens like a closet and the cartoon version of her is in there.
It's just blasting hearts up her ass.
And she's like, holy shit! And she's terrified because this cartoon version's real.
Like, I mean, it's kind of tying into a recent podcast we did, but I actually thought legit it should be like the season 2 opener of House of Cards. That, like, because House of Cards, has the whole thing of Frank talking directly to the camera, as we see every Christmas. But the season 2 opener is like quite a dark episode. It kills off one of the main characters from season 1, and throughout the entire episode, Frank doesn't speak to the camera, but you kind of don't notice it's missing until right at the end he's looking himself in the mirror, and then his eyes just dart to the camera, and he's like, oh, perhaps you thought I'd forgotten about you, or maybe you just wished that I had. And you're like, and it's like fucking great. It's such a like good moment.
And that's
of the
what
series.
Lizzie McGuire needs.
And that's like, but that's legit
cards.
what Lizzie McGuire should have done. Is that like you forget that she used to have this little animated version, and then she shows up right at the end. Yeah,
nice.
Voiced by Kevin Spacey. He needs a gig, man.
He needs a gig. This movie, I think I enjoyed it, and I think it is a kids movie, and so there are plenty of, I don't know if plot holes is the right term, but plot contrivances where it's like, buttholes. It's full of plenty of buttholes. Now, a lot of plot contrivances where things like the fact that she just knows this clearly choreographed dance and stuff like that. That's like, kids, this is a little girl's power fantasy. This movie is a little girl's power fantasy, so we don't need to be completely realistic with what the how everything works out. But one thing I didn't like about this movie is that it feels like they're desperate to include the ensemble cast from the TV show. It is interesting that you make a TV show series final, and the way you do is you take one character from the ensemble and put them in another country, and then you're like, well, how do we bring the other characters back into it now? One of which is her dad, played by Robert Carradine, who we have spoken in depth before about on the Revenge of the Nerds episode. But the way that the family gets involved in the plot of the movie is Jake Thomas, or Matt, her little brother, who's looking really forward to cracking up. He discovers the whole Lizzie,
so funny, man.
Isabella, crossover thing happening, and he decides he needs to go to Italy to like get revenge on her. It's very strange. And the way he does it is he tells his parents that he misses his sister, and then they fly to Italy. And I thought that was very stupid. I didn't think that was very realistic, Richard.
Yeah, okay.
I will not have you sit here and slander
it's
the cinematic mastery that is
the
Lizzie McGuire movie.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it is a real weird plot thing. But also you mentioned the main cast of the plot of the show, but it Miranda is absent throughout the whole movie as well.
Mm-hmm. And that actress like
quit the show.
Was really like chewed up by Hollywood after this as well. It's pretty sad.
Damn.
So David Gordon, Zephyr
and
Gordon,
Adam Lambert.
So
which is funny because I remember when Adam Lambert was on American Idol, and I would Google him every week to see the new songs he did, because I followed American Idol quite heavily at that time.
Oh my God.
And every time I typed in Adam Lambert, it would say, "Do you mean Adam Lambert?" And it's so funny now
longer
to be that there was a time when it was like, surely you mean Gordo from Lizzie McGuire, not the lead singer of Queen.
I think Gordo, and especially in this movie, was very influential for soft boys like myself, who were growing up. Weak.
You're weak.
Because like there's the things I remember about this movie is the scene where they're like on the plane to Italy, and Lizzie's like fallen asleep on his shoulder, and how he like sacrifices his own integrity for her, and they kiss at the end, and like, oh my God, I wanted to be this for someone. There was no one in my life who could have fulfilled the Lizzie McGuire role for me, but I wanted to be this like young romantic best friend with a girl, and then even though we're best friends, we discover there's something more there, and like I put my life on the line for her, and it's unrealistic, Richard. It's an unrealistic beauty standard for emotional men and boys. And I blame this movie.
Yeah.
Also in the cast, we have one Alex Borstein as Mrs. Ungermeyer.
Peter!
Their teacher and chaperone. And is of course the voice of Lois from Family Guy.
Peter. Oh, Peter.
And that's fun. then that's something that we both noticed, and that's fun. Another thing I noticed in this movie is the somewhat infamous meme that is the pizza delivery soundtrack from the Spider-Man 2 for PS2 game plays in the background of the scene at the end where they're after all the madness is gone.
They just googled Italian music.
Yeah. And I thought that was pretty funny, and I told you it, and you said to me, I don't know what you're talking about. I haven't finished the movie yet.
Yeah. Well, because you just messaged me and said, the pizza song from Spider-Man 2. And I was like, well, I thought you just like it popped into your mind and it was one of these like insane out of the blue things you say to me like last night when you said, are you asleep at 11:30 p.m.? And I said yes.
That's not that out of the blue.
It's not out of the blue to get a message from you at 11:30 for that message to be, "Are you asleep?" That's
well, I didn't know what
rare.
your work schedule's like. I wanted to record this podcast that we're doing right now.
Yeah, well, even still, like 11:30 is pretty late.
Not for me, baby. That's midday
To
for
record
me.
a podcast. That's absolutely insane. Can we talk about the song "What Dreams Are Made Of"? Because I fucking love it. I know you're a big fan of "Beat of My Heart." But
playing different games.
Yeah. Anyway, Hilary Duff's best song is "Wake Up" by a fucking country mile.
I looked up what dreams are made of, but it said what dreams may come, and now I've got the lyrics for that.
Do you know what my like enduring memory of "What Dreams Are Made Of" is?
Is it the part where it goes, oh, oh, oh?
No. So there was, you know, like when you're in high school and you just have like a bunch of friends of friends that are in shitty bands that end up doing like kind of well sometimes. One of these bands did a cover of "What Dreams Are Made Of," and then members of that band went on to form this other band that they uploaded this like shitty One Direction cover, and like Ryan Seacrest saw it and they got flown to America and made an EP, and they were going to be the next big thing.
Wait, people you know did this?
Yeah, handed a career on a silver platter, and nothing really ever came of it as far as I'm aware. I did just look them up, and they uploaded a video a month ago, but like going on the page, so they've released like one single, and the comments are like, damn, the Make Believe was my favorite band when I was 12, and I still enjoy them. They had one song, like Grow Up. What are you talking about?
Richard, have you ever seen Such a Beautiful Night?
I love this song so much,
It actually is quite a beautiful night here in Christchurch.
Like, and it's annoying as well because, like, I love this song, and I love, like, a pop-punk version of it. But
not like this.
Not like this.
Does it go, have you ever seen such a beautiful night?
No, yeah, like legit. It's like one of these things where it's like, yeah, it was Ryan. They ended up being on Ryan Seacrest's show in the States, and they recorded like 15 songs. They released an EP, but I don't know if it's available anywhere. But they got picked up for this One Direction cover they did of "What Makes You Beautiful," and it's like literally just that you're insecure, don't know what for, and it's like the most generic pop punk voice, and it's like, how can anyone see this and be like, this is the hot new sound we're looking for, because it's just how everyone sounded. So legit, it sounded 100% like what you described.
I could almost kiss the stars for shining so bright.
Yeah.
Then I see you smiling as I don't know how they bug. Oh, oh, oh. These reviews for this movie, this is what I'm talking about, where it's like these are not your demographics.
This is like what Brie Larson said. I don't need a white man to tell me what didn't work for him about A Wrinkle in Time.
Because Scott Brown for Entertainment Weekly gave the film a B+ and said, let's face it, Lizzie McGuire is just too darn polished to be a junior high underdog, even by the standards of her luxe suburban environs. But she hasn't tarnished her comeback kid cred among the 6 and ups who faithfully follow her Disney Channel show. And it doesn't make the Lizzie McGuire movie a clever, agreeable, weightless theatrical outing any less enjoyable. It's like, shut up. What are you talking about?
I could tell you hadn't read that before you started saying it.
Richard, let's not make fun of me. Let's make fun of Scott Brown for using the term luxe suburban environs when talking about the Lizzie McGuire movie.
Yeah, it's such a pretentious thing. Yeah, you're right. But it's so funny that it's like you can't tell what tone he's going for, and so then it doesn't make this a clever blah 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 any less enjoyable. Okay, right, okay.
I guess it was a nice thing.
Yeah.
At the end. I guess that's a B+ for you, baby.
Yeah.
So where's my sequel, bro? We have talked already a bit about the sequel, and I guess we've already pitched our own.
Yeah, well, because
do we want to smack a retroactive label on that and say that counts?
Well, because everyone's like Lizzie's, Hillary's doing How I Met Your Father now, which I could not be less excited for. And everyone's like, this will be the Lizzie McGuire. They wouldn't let Lizzie fuck, and now she's gonna fuck in this series. And like, my God, I like. A spin-off to How I Met Your Mother, like, oh my God, what's next? A spin-off to Game of Thrones? You want shows that ended badly and give you more? Get fucked. Get fucked. Oh, I can't wait for the fucking Josh Radnor to show up in the second to last episode of the first season, which is also the second to last episode of the entire series, because it's going to get cancelled. There's no way that show lasts more than 2 seasons. Guaranteed.
Okay.
Mark my words. Mark my fucking words.
Well, it would be doing just as good as Lizzie McGuire, which only went for 2 seasons.
Yeah, but like 30, 40 episode seasons.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And also AJ, The Legacy. An amazing legacy.
Yeah, there is 65 episodes.
31 and 34. Do you remember any favourite Lizzie McGuire moments from the series?
Nah. I mean, she was just
Let's move on.
Yeah.
Hey, and that's where I think we'll end the episode. I hope everybody enjoyed it.
Oh, I do remember there's an episode where Lizzie and Matt switch bodies.
No.
Yeah.
They wouldn't. That's too silly.
But then it might be a dream.
It might be a dream. That's the thing. It always
It's called
is.
Those Freaky Maguires.
Is that true?
Yeah, that's legit what the episode's called.
All right. Well, we have fun here over at Generic Movie Podcast.
Those freaky podcasters.
Kia ora and welcome to Generic Movie Podcast on the Cult Popture Patreon. This is, of course, for all you $10 patrons. What's the Hamilton line? Something founding $5, $10 founding patrons.
Alexander Hamilton.
Yeah, our Alexander Hamiltons. This is a podcast exclusive for you, the 20 odd people who have access to it. And where you vote on a movie for us to watch, and we watch that movie and then talk about that movie. And Richard, here we are. It's 2021, and 20 years later, after this movie, 20 years earlier, came out the movie. Not Another Teen Movie is what we're watching today.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we've already watched it.
You've already watched it?
I already watched it. What can I say?
What a stitch up. What a Lilo and Stitch up.
I'm just ahead of the curb. This is a spoof movie. 2001, directed by Joel Galen. And it is essentially what Scary Movie was to scary movies. This is to teen movies. A genre which is already a comedy. Which is always a rocky foundation for a parody, I think. But I'm on the Wikipedia page for Not Another Teen Movie, and it is strangely extensive for what I think would be a movie mostly forgotten to the sands of time. There's a whole bunch of shit on here that I'd like to discuss.
No, I think that this movie, certainly within our generation, I think stands the test of time in terms of
people remembering
it, yeah.
And in not really a lot of other ways does it stand the test of time, though not as bad as you may think, but also in other ways extremely bad. So what is it? What's it about?
It's the she's all that kind of Jake Weiler, played by Chris Evans in his film debut, is the popular guy, and he is tasked with taking the most horrific, disgusting a woman on campus and turning her into a prom queen. He is stuck with Janie, who has paint on her overalls.
And glasses and a ponytail.
Yeah, and it's same as how Scary Movie is essentially Scream or meets I Know What You Did Last Summer. This is kind of like it's just She's All There is the main driving plot of the film.
Yeah, the Wikipedia page lists She's All That, Varsity Blues, 10 Things I Hate About You, Can't Hardly Wait, Pretty in Pink, Bring It On, American Pie, both films we've watched for the podcast.
Yeah. So up to Pretty in Pink, it's like those ones actually inform the plot. Right. The rest are just mostly throwaway jokes.
Yeah. American Beauty, Never Been Kissed, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, Can't Buy Me Love, Jawbreaker, 16 Candles, Dazed and Confused, Lucas, Rudy, The Breakfast Club, Grease, and Road Trip. Lucas and Rudy are two separate films, okay, in case you also hadn't heard of those movies. So it's like, is the film called Lucas Rudy? So this is this in any way related to Scary Movie and Date Movie and all that sort of thing? No? It does have a C also on the Wikipedia page, which has all of those movies.
Yeah, I think it's just because it's like, oh, you're looking at pages for spoof movies. Here's some other ones that came out around the same time.
So it's not a Friedberg and Seltzer connected thing or anything? Because it is like, it's called something movie, you know, which is what the telltale sign was.
Well, it's called Not Another Something Movie.
I know, exactly. It's in a grey area.
I don't like if you're trying to make it out like this is part of the franchise of Date Movie, Epic Movie.
I'm not.
You're not.
I'm just asking.
Yeah.
I had no ulterior motive. I was just trying to clarify.
Well, it sounded like you had from podcasting with you for 5 years. What you felt like you were leading to was you had this like this whole massive paragraph already written about how it fits into that franchise, making this blah, blah, blah. And also, if you count this, then you also, because of this connection. So I just wanted to nip that right in the bud.
I can't believe you think I would write something down for a Patreon episode.
Yeah, which is why I was confused, because it was like you were using that language.
Yeah.
And those inflections.
This has 29% on Rotten Tomatoes. What did you think of it?
I saw you gave this like 2.5 stars on Letterboxd. I gave it 3.
I nearly gave it 3.
Well, like this is a film that like this feels like a problematic fave, you know? Like obviously like a spoof movie from 20 years ago is going to have some dated stuff in it, and especially when it's parodying like even the problematic stuff in it, you could say it's like, well, they're parodying problematic stuff, you know? But it's like but I do still love this movie, that it's like there's so many jokes in it that are like so close to my heart because I saw them at like such a formative age. I will say that every time I watch this movie though, it's a tight hour and 29 minutes long, but I do think it overstays its welcome. I like every time I watch this movie, about an hour into it, I realize like, oh man, I'm kind of getting over this. Like, I don't like it loses me around the hour mark, and then they get to prom and I'm like, oh fuck yeah, that's right, we've still got this whole bit.
Yeah, I'd only ever seen this once, and I was very young. I remember it was on TV. It would have been maybe 2004, 2005. I remember it was on TV, and me and my brother were like, oh shit, we're going to watch Not Another Teen Movie. Like, it was probably later than 2000. I want to maybe like 2007. And we watched it, and then midway through, Mum and Dad came home and sat there and watched it with us. And my only memory was Dad going, "This movie's quite rude, isn't it?" because all the real filthy stuff is like in the first
front loaded,
third of the movie, and so by the time my parents came home, it was probably past the halfway mark, and all they've got is like the occasional shot of Areola the nude foreign exchange student, and a couple of off-color jokes. But I remember it being surprisingly palatable to watch with my father in the room. But I think why this is a interesting film for us to watch is that it is part of a now pretty much extinct genre, a genre that certainly went that went belly up as it died. Like, you know, by the end of this golden age of spoof movies, they were like awful, right? But I think people remember it because it does have some really like good stuff in it, stuff that feels smarter than anything that's in anything after Scary Movie 2, for sure. No?
Well, I would just say that like the best, one of the best spoof movies is Walk Hard, and that came out after. I'm including the
you're talking about Fred Seltzer.
Yeah, the ones that descended into a certain
this style. Definitely, it feels like it's the closest to it's someone trying to do for Scary Movie, and this was before Date Movie, and so when the part of the team behind Scary Movie tried to do, you know, rom-coms themselves, but yeah, it feels like, because if you look at the like filmography of the director, like I've never seen a Wikipedia page like it. It's written completely differently. It's like all his credits are like executive producer or executive producer / director for like 25th anniversary concert for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And it's
that
like
kind of director.
Yeah.
The kind of director that winds up as a tutor at broadcasting school.
Yeah. Yeah, actually. But like from what I can tell, this is his sole film he directed.
Yeah, it looks like it. Interesting. My point being is that there is some parody and some astute satire in this that would not be out of place if you were making fun of this kind of movie today.
Give us an example, AJ.
I think that's really interesting. Well, so I think one of the funniest things this movie has is the idea that of Janie as a character being like ugly. Oh my god! But she's got a ponytail and glasses, and like that's a joke that you
People
see repeated a lot.
And
People
it's like,
still make
this trope was lambasted 20 years ago.
And it's interesting that they would lambast it in the center of the genre. It was like teen movies. Like this would have come out before American Pie 2. Like this is still in the thick of the kind of movies it's parodying. Into the thick of it, in the thick of it. And I think that's really interesting that it has that. You always kind of think these things are easier to see in retrospect 20 years later. Like now, I feel like I could quite confidently make like a parody of an American Pie style film. It's interesting that people were able to do that at the time because those tropes were so ingrained. And I think there as you said before, there are some jokes in this where it's like, this is offensive, but it might more so be playing with. It's more like it's making fun of the original offensive thing in movies. And I think the best example of that is one of the characters is the token black guy. And at the start of the movie, he says, I'm the token black guy. I'm only here to say things like, damn, shit, and that's whack. And then a moment later, something happens which causes him to say, damn, shit, and that's whack in succession. It's a very funny joke.
And the other great joke following on from that is at the big party, at Preston's party, there's another black guy there, and he's like, and you know, they're the two most like cordial people in the movie. Just like, hey man, sorry, I was supposed to be the only black guy at this party, and he's like, oh, my bad, sorry. Yeah.
And so another joke I really like is the parody of American Beauty that they've got the Wes Bentley parody and he's got a plastic bag following him around. Again, that feels like, wow, so even in 2001, people were like, American Beauty is pretty pretentious, isn't it? You know, like it kind of feels like something that ages poorly, but it's interesting to see that even in 2001, 2 years after the film, they were still like, this is something that's very ripe for parody.
Yeah. I think that though that this kind of does the thing, like, and I think like Walk Hard kind of does it as well. But where it's like it's even though it's being quite vicious, it's actually kind of coming from a place of love. Like
this is clearly people who grew up on the films of the 80s, your Pretty in Pink, 16 Candles, those kind of things. And they were able to get Molly Ringwald in the film. They were able to get the guy to play Vernon, who plays him in The Breakfast Club. But it's a group of people who are like, man, we loved those films growing up, but have you ever noticed this and this and this, how they all have that? And so I think it's like that, whereas a lot of the later Friedberg and Seltzer movies come from a place of like, oh, I haven't watched this movie, but it sounds dumb.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And there's great things, and like this, the high school's called John Hughes High. The stadium's called Henry Dean Stadium, which is like real funny shit. Like then there's Michael. Oh, what's the guy from The Breakfast Club? Michael Hall or something?
Anthony Michael Hall.
Anthony Michael Hall, where you go for assembly. And so I think that's all really good. Beyond just flagrant kind of male gaze exploitation of naked women, that is a lot, like
that
all the way
hot.
through this film. I think its worst joke, and the one that made this very difficult for me to be like, it's actually not too bad, was Sam Levine's character, who is a wannabe Asian, and it's just like, oh Jesus Christ, it's already kind of dated, then you throw that character in, and it's just like, you cannot watch this around some people, I think, now. It is such a poor taste joke. And it's weird that it's in this movie where they get a black guy to play a token black guy in a way that is arguably satirizing like racist practices in other teen movies, to then have like this horrifically offensive stereotype. It's not even, it's a white dude pretending to be an Asian dude. So it's not even like it's an Asian dude they got to play up stereotypes. He says like the Asian slur in this movie at one point. Like it is like, oh God, it's so hard to watch in some spots. And I wish that wasn't in this, because I think I would have an easier time hyping it up and making myself like it more than I do if it didn't have that joke. And he's like, at every line he says, he's putting on an accent, and it's like, oh, it makes my skin crawl.
Yeah, broken English.
Yeah. Awful. I thought that was just so bad.
I think that's the funniest joke in the film.
No, you do not.
It's this kind of thing that it's like they should have done it with a throwaway character rather than the main one, because it's like, because the poster for the film like points at what every character's stereotype is, and it's on the Wikipedia page.
Oh, okay, that makes more sense. I was going to say that when I said that the Wikipedia page is extensive, they've got the list of characters and their associated stereotypes, and for a lot of these I was like, where is this written in here? It's like it just seemed like someone really liked the movie and was like, and they all represent a specific stereotype, and some of them are like the wannabe or the perfect girl. It's like they're not necessarily obvious stereotypes, I guess. But anyway, continue.
But yeah, so the poster of the film is like the entire main cast, and it points to each of them and tells you what part they are. But yeah, like Sam Levine's character, the wannabe, should have been a throwaway joke, because the joke of having like, because he comes in and he's pretending to be Asian essentially, and then these two white guys walk past and they're like, damn, that guy wants to be that, like that cracker thinks trying to be a different race kind of thing. And that's clearly the joke, is that you see the white kids in every high school pretending to be black, and then it's like, imagine if one was pretending to be Asian. And it's like, as a throwaway joke, I get what you're trying to do, but it's like, it's this like lead balloon tied to one of your main characters.
Yeah. And also, or you make that character constantly switch what he wants to be in every scene.
Yeah.
So maybe he's a wannabe Asian in the first scene you see him in. I'm still not saying that's okay, but it would have been a lot easier to swallow if, like, in the next scene he's a wannabe musician. You know, it's just
you would escalate to Asian. So you see him and be like, I'm, because like to try and impress girls, he keeps on pretending to be things he's not, and then you have, he comes in and like in yellow face, and they're like, maybe don't do that one. I think there is a way to make that joke work in 2001.
Yes.
But
you're right.
But it shouldn't be a main character kind of thing, because he's one of the main kind of trio of guys, because in addition to the main She's All That plot, Janie's younger brother has two friends, and they're kind of going through their American Pie plot of we're going to lose our virginities before the end of the year.
My favorite line in this movie was like something about how they've been trying to do this ever since they hit puberty, and one of them's like, that was 2.5 weeks ago. Which is a great line. I think that there's this is maybe one of those cases where a lot of the jokes are like, I can see what you're going for, but it's probably not still okay. It's that thing we've learned over the last couple years about, like, even when you are making fun of the thing, if you're still displaying the thing, that's maybe not okay, you know?
Yeah.
So what are some of your favorite? Do you have any favorite jokes in this?
Well, I was saying to you that, like, I messaged you when I started watching it, that my favorite jokes in it are kind of the most inconsequential ones. Like because Janie's family is poor and that's part of the thing, and Jake's family is rich, that they pull up in this like beat up ute. And when their dad's dropping them off at school, and she opens the door and the door just falls off the car, and it's like it's so funny. But it's like that's the kind of thing I love about these movies. Is and I kind of always find these to be the funniest jokes, is the ones that probably aren't in the script, ones that feel like you're on set and you go, oh, what if the door fell off? And like, oh, what can we name the hall? The Anthony Michael Hall. Like just these quick little throwaway gags, and visual gags especially, I think why like elevates the film and makes it more than just kind of a list of tropes.
Yeah, no, totally. And I really like it. It reminds me of my favorite joke in the entire Scary Movie franchise is in Scary Movie 3 when someone leaves a classroom and these crayons go flying at the door, and then Gina, or who is it? What's the character's name? And she's like, "Who the fuck did that?" It's so funny. It's such a forgotten joke in the series, but it's just so silly. Yeah. I'll say this: I thought Chris Evans was really good in this.
Yeah.
It's such a strange thing to say about what could perceivably be quite a simple role to play, but I felt like he was better than the rest of the cast by at least a little bit. I don't know. He just gets it. He's making fun of it in the perfect kind of loving way.
Yeah, it is crazy that he managed to go and have the career he did when this was his first role. Because it's like, this is quite a well-known film as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not only Chris Evans, but I also I really like that. So that you've got the obsessed best friend Ricky, who would be a clone of Ryan from High School Musical, but came out years beforehand. He's like just dressed the exact same. The actor looks quite similar. But I love that, like, he doesn't get the girl because it's just like, no, dude, you're so creepy. Like, he writes poems to her and presents them in class, and she's oblivious to the whole thing. Which is a good running gag. But the fact that they don't end up together and he ends up getting the shit beaten out of him. He's within an inch of his life at the end of the film. It's like, yeah, dude, you're obsessed and it's creepy.
Yeah, and I like that. There's a scene when they're both going to try and save the girl, and they both be like, "But I'm the best friend that's been in front of her the whole time and been in love with her, and she hasn't noticed me." And he's like, and Chris Evans is like, "Oh, but I'm the douchey jock that learned to change and become a better man." And like, it's like they're saying, it's in terms of storytelling tropes, we have both earned the woman. Like, these are both characters who win at the end of rom-coms, or at the end of teen movies. Yeah.
Another great gag that I've always loved is the 10 Things I Hate About You parody, where Chris Evans' sister, who wants to fuck him, says to impress Janie, you've got to you should like make a big public gesture and sing a song with her name in it. And of course, he chooses Aerosmith's "Janie's Got a Gun," and then everyone's like, "Oh my god, Janie's got a gun!"
Yeah.
And they're like, "Give us the gun, Janie."
I think it's the cleverest joke in the film, and I think they probably came up with that idea.
Yeah,
and then
100%. And you would,
and named her Janie because of that. And it's a great move. It's really funny.
Yeah, if you did it, that's insane. They chose
That's a
the name
really good
Janie
joke.
first. They wrote a scene where she's accused of having a gun, and then they were like,
No, I didn't mean.
"Oh, Aerosmith in that song."
No, they go.
Yeah,
He
no,
does
yeah.
the 10 things I hate about you scene.
Yeah.
What's the funniest
What's the song, yeah.
name? Yeah, yeah. I really like that joke. I think that's a really good joke.
I also really like Jamie Presley.
Oh yeah, the nasty cheerleader.
Yeah.
according to the poster. Yeah, she's great.
Yeah, she's always good fun. Oh, and the fucking such a good joke when Janie is at the pool party and she jumps off to show what a like unique spirit she is. She jumps off the pool, off the roof into the pool, comes out soaking wet, and then Priscilla, Jamie Presley's character, pours a bottle of Evian on her and is like, "Whoops! Oh, I guess that's gonna know that." And then someone's like, "That's gonna stain." And there's a bunch of like random background off-screen extras that yell lines in this film that are great. And then Janie runs around the pool crying because she got water on her even though she was already soaking wet after getting out of the pool. That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's really good.
Also, Ted from How I Met Your Mother's in this movie.
Yeah, Josh Radnor.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was real weird.
yeah. So I guess what's your closing statement on Not Another Teen? Oh, we should do Where's My Sequel, Bro, as well.
Oh yeah.
What's your closing statement?
I like it.
Yeah. I think with a retooling, maybe that's my Where's My Sequel is like
Yet another teen movie.
remember all those teen movies, and it can just be a little more tactful in what it's making fun of. Maybe it can make fun of itself. There you go. There's my Where's My Sequel, bro.
Yeah. Molly Ringwald's in this film as well, which is and I found out today Molly Ringwald's 53, which shocked me. She's
that's
younger
pretty
than I
young.
thought. But that like, you know, someone who had their biggest kind of career in the 80s, which was, you know, 40 years ago. It's crazy to think that they're only 53 now. She was 12 when the 80s started, and then I hit her stride in 16 Candles, where she was literally 16. I guess
That's how they cast back in the day.
Yeah, they just cast actual teenagers back in the day, which seems novel now. So, yeah, if you thought Molly Ringwald was hot before Pretty in Pink, that's on you,
Get
pal.
to jail.
Go directly to jail. Do not pass go. Do not collect $100. Oh, she's in the Kissing Booth movies as well. I didn't know that.
Thank you very much for listening, everyone. What are we doing for... I keep forgetting what we're doing for film franchise follow-ups.
We were going to watch Monsters, Inc., but it'll be late. Monsters at Work, but it'll be late this month because the last episode, I think, comes out like on the 1st or 8th of September.
So it'll be a bit of a late...
Yeah,
film
I mean,
franchise
it would work
follow-ups.
better to do it for next month, but I argued that point, and AJ
I thought
said,
we agreed on that and we thought of something else to do for this month.
did we?
I don't know. Do you want to do something else?
No.
Do Monsters at Work next month?
Nah, I haven't even watched Monsters at Work. Is it good?
It's fine.
Have you been watching it?
Yeah.
Have you been watching it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched the first episode and was like, guess we'll have to do this for film franchise follow-ups, aren't we?
All right, everyone. Thank you very much for listening, and we'll see you later.
Wikipedia describes the Kissing Booth as, despite being deemed sexist and objectively bad.
All right.
Fantastic.
All right, welcome to the outro. Still recording on my phone. If you enjoyed these, please consider following us at all the places. You can like us on Instagram and Twitter at Cold Popture. You can email us, sure, at cultpopturemedia@gmail.com. Or if you want, you can join the Discord, which is there'll be a link to in the show notes. And of course, if you liked these episodes specifically, why not join our Patreon at patreon.com/cultpopture, where you can get dozens upon dozens. I don't want to say hundreds, but it might be hundreds. It's probably not hundreds, but it's a lot of. I know it might be over 100. Yeah, the 24 Patreon episodes a year. We've been having a Patreon for about 4 years, so that could break 100, nearly. Well, let us know anyway. And yeah, thank you for listening, and we'll be back in a couple of weeks with some proper episodes. Please enjoy your summer break and allow us the grace of enjoying our summer break. I just realized it's not going to be even summer for most of our American listeners. It's the cold, dead winter, and we're offering you nothing new if you're a patron already. If you're not a patron already, patreon.com/cultpopture. Sign up today.